Good afternoon and welcome back to another ironic introduction to another video. Today I have a full abilities breakdown, guide, and gameplay for Namor. Now I've had Namor at max sig for quite a while now, but when I finally got around to thinking about making a guide for him, there were kind of rumors about Namor potentially being nerfed, so I wanted to wait until the actual nerf to make this guide so I could make sure I, future-proof the guide as much as possible. So I'm fairly confident now, having done some playtesting as well as recording some footage of him, that I can do like a proper breakdown of his abilities as well as like suggested gameplay mechanics. So as always, I'm trying to do this thing where I give champions a value, and so in order to touch on Namor's value, I really need to touch on his Sig ability, which is he takes 100% reduced damage while he's attacking into the opponent, and reflects it upon them instead. And this percentage of reduced damage is completely dependent upon being max sig level. So if you don't plan on max sigging Namor, you're not really getting the core of his kit, which is this anti-thorns and reflection ability. And then the other thing is that Namor, at the time when he was released, he was ranked number 2 on total prestige, but since then he has been trumped by Dr. Doom and Silver Surfer, bringing him all the way down to number 4, which is still just absolutely crazy. He's got a wicked high prestige, and considering you want him max sig, you are going to get that full value of the 200 sig. But we do see rank 3 6 stars entering the market, and Namor, his 5-star max sig prestige is going to fall off just a bit, but it is something to be mindful of, especially if rank 3 6 stars are not in your future anytime soon. So that said, if you're going to take a max sig 5-star Namor, I'm going to say he's worth rank 5. I love my Namor. He does so much work, did amazing work for me in variant 2. I really like playing him in Act 6. I see so much sustained value out of him. Absolutely great, especially and pretty much if you're running suicides. But if you're not running suicides, you don't plan on max sigging him, I personally wouldn't even rank this guy up. Maybe you can bring him up to rank 3 for Arena, but generally speaking, I wouldn't be hyped about it, because if you're thinking Namor and you're thinking, oh, big special damage, solid regeneration, those aren't really Namor's kits, and you really only get the solid regeneration if you're running Suicide Masteries. Because if you're not running Suicide Masteries, the special healing, it's not the biggest amount of healing, and it even just got nerfed. It's really doesn't feel that great. It was built in to kind of mitigate recoil a little bit, but it turns out that his just regular healing from Suicide Masteries and his Awakened ability is really where all his regeneration comes from. So that's my value take on Namor. Let's knock through these abilities properly fast as we can. So his Awakened ability is takes reduced damage while attacking up to 100% when max sigged, and reflects it on the opponent instead. Medium attacks have a 60% chance to inflict a bleed. Namor has this ability called Outrage, which he can stack up to 30 times. Every 3 seconds he passively gains 1. He generates 1 whenever he is bled or incinerated. He generates 1 whenever a bleed or stun buff debuff fails to apply on the opponent, or whenever the opponent purifies a debuff. Namor also does notably not gain Outrage when applying bleed to robots, because he doesn't hold them responsible for their lack of blood. So just don't use him against robots. You really don't have to worry about that. It's kind of like Namor and Omega Red. Don't use them on robots. Imperious Rex. If Namor has 15 stacks of Outrage, he can dash back and hold block to instantly gain 1 bar of power and activate Imperious Rex. Most times you don't want to trigger it this way, but it's something to be mindful of when you're trying to block specials. We'll talk about that in a moment. If Namor has 30 stacks of Outrage, he instantly generates up to 95% of his max power and activates Imperious Rex. Note that this is not generates 95% of his max power, as in you'll go up to a special 3. It is you generate up to just barely under a special 3. So you do still need to get that other 5% in order to throw another special 3. We'll talk on that later. Namor's special attacks deal up to 240% additional damage based on active stacks of Outrage. So that is a huge key factor in his large damage. His special attacks cost 90 less percent power. However, Namor drains 15% of a bar of power every second. Each special he throws applies an additional 5% per second drain. So, once you throw a special 3, you are going to have slightly less than a special 3, but you will be passively draining. So you can come out, throw a special 2, come out, throw a special 1. Lots of specials from Namor. While his Imperious Rex is active, Namor cannot gain power from any source other than his own abilities. So if you have any kind of power gain or something for some reason, you're not getting that on Namor, but don't worry, your basic attacks do count as part of his abilities, so you do see damage that way. Once Namor has 0 power remaining, all stacks of Outrage are removed and Imperious Rex ends. So, you know, once your power is depleted, no more Imperious Rex, no more big specials. You kind of gotta like re-ramp. It's a delayed burst window kind of a thing. When you throw a heavy while Imperious Rex is active, you consume 15 stacks of Outrage to generate 100% of a bar of power. When you throw a special attack, any special attack, even outside of Imperious Rex, you regenerate 3% of your missing health. And that is like most of his core abilities. As far as specials go, a special 1 has a 50% chance to inflict bleed on each hit. And while Imperious Rex is active, Namor generates twice as much Outrage from all sources for the duration of this special attack. So essentially you can use the special 1 to ramp like a bunch of Imperious Rex charges, just making it deal more damage, which is very, very nice. The special 2, each hit has a 50% chance to stun and is unblockable while Imperious Rex is active. This is your big money, big damage. On the special 3, you gain a passive Fury, increasing your attack by almost like it pretty much like triples your attack. So 1 Fury like triples your attack, then the second Fury almost doubles your attack from there. It's a really, really big Fury for 20 seconds. And while this Fury is active, Namor's opponents gain 0 power when struck by specials. So it's notable that you need to throw a special 3 and gain a Fury in order to make it so that you're not giving your opponent power on specials. So that's all of Namor's abilities. We'll touch on his synergies really quick as well. For that, I use Ant-My, AUNTM period AI. So his synergies, you really don't need to bring any of them, but like maybe you're potion farming and you want to know what kind of value you can get. You have each team member of this synergy increases the team's attack rating by 8% as long as they are alive. That is between Beast, Drax, and Hulk. You don't really use that one. The Magneto synergy is all champs get plus 155 crit rating and all champs get plus 5% attack. So Magneto's your solid boosting your attack champ. For Kingpin, Black Panther, and King Groot, each member of the synergy increases the team's special attack by 12% as long as they are alive. This is another one you don't really use. You might use the Black Panther one if you're like swapping in Nick Fury or something. But again, I think most people use a mutant team. We'll go over that in a moment. If you bring Invisible Woman, all champions gain plus 5% power gain. There's a synergy with Moon Knight where under a full moon or new moon, attacking or being attacked by bleeding opponents grants 5% of the bar of power with each strike. As the moon waxes and wanes, attack rating is increased by 15%. So that's pretty neat, but you have to pay attention to the tides of the moon in order to do that, which notably on Ant-My, you can also get that if you're really interested in taking advantage of that synergy. Again, Invisible Woman, all champs get plus 5% health, and then Vision Arcus here is 5% perfect block chance. So that said, at this point I'll put a timestamp as I talk about like specific thoughts and commentary on the abilities more than just the actual rundown itself. So first I just want to talk about synergies. If you're bringing Namor for synergy teams, this is the synergy team I use and it's the one I used for my gameplay. There might be more optimal things, so if you see something that's more optimal or you have evidence, feel free to comment. But what I use personally is Magneto with Cyclops and Storm. So it's like your standard mutant team, but I also run a second Namor because the Namor synergies, none of them are unique. They're just synergies. So running double Namor means you get to double up on the Magneto, Cyclops, and Storm synergies. But you can also always run like double Cyclops, double Magneto, or double Storm if you don't have a secondary Namor to run as well. So that is like the synergy teams. As far as abilities go, I think one of the things people like question or they meme is when Kabam released their reason to nerf Namor's healing on special attacks. One of Kabam's reasons was Namor has one of the highest regenerations in the game. People were like, his special attacks don't even heal that much. And you're totally not wrong. Like his special attacks, this is really just in there to help mitigate recoil. The thing is, Namor's healing, his like clutch, insane healing, is in his awakened ability. Once you have this max sigged and you are attacking into the opponent and you're running both suicides or even just poison, really poison is the key one, and max willpower, you are just getting an insane amount of health every time you're attacking into the opponent. So the way it works is willpower gives you 0.7% health per second, 0.7% of your health per second, so long as you have a debuff on yourself. Poison inflicts damage, and most of the time it's normally just mitigated, right? Max willpower basically mitigates max poison, but with Namor's ability, you are not taking any of the poison damage. So you are just getting the free willpower healing as long as you're attacking to the opponent. And if you take advantage of like slow combos to maximize on that healing, you are essentially getting like, you know, 2.5% health every 1 or 2 combos, or just like slowly, very slowly getting so much health over the direction of the fight. And the longer the fight, the better the heal, especially if you can really capitalize on slow combos. And honestly, you don't even have to do that to feel the full benefits of this. You just heal up so much health over so long of a duration. Not to mention, you even get like a little bit of recoil mitigation on top of that. So when people talk about, and specifically Bam, when I say people, Namor having like wicked high regeneration, he really does. He really does heal a lot over the duration of the fight. As long as you're playing perfect and you're on top of your game, you get a really big heal just from willpower, and it's permanent. So that's just kind of something to be mindful of. Next up, I think it's important to talk about like the fact that you can trigger Imperious Rex by dashing back and holding block. This is not something I really recommend doing ever, because you're missing out on your like really big window of damage, but it is something that totally affects you if you're trying to block specials. So if you're trying to block specials, my biggest tip for you is when you have 15 stacks of outrage or higher, or just generally when you play Namor, get into the habit, you can still dodge back, tap, block, and then immediately let go of block, and then press down again and hold block. And you can do that very quickly, and you can block specials like normal, because once you've done the initial block, first block, that's what starts the timer to trigger Imperious Rex. Once you let go of the screen and hold block again, it's no longer considered as dash back, hold block. It's just block, allowing you to safely hold block for as long as you like without triggering it. The next comment here is on Namor special attacks deal up to 240% additional damage while per outrage. So a lot of people, and me too, like myself as well, we were throwing like special 2 outside of Imperious Rex and then parry heavying for another special 2, thinking we were getting like a ton of value out of it. And the truth is, you really don't need to do that. You can just throw the one special 2 and then throw a special 1. You're cutting down on damage a little bit, but for the most part, that's really all you need. Like, yeah, crits on the special 2 are going to give you way more damage, and this method works a lot better for like maximizing time on the Furies. So if you like know for a fact you really just need to edge a little more damage out of the opponent, or maybe the opponent's in a special 3, so you're just trying to get most out of it while you can before like they special 3 and kill you. For the most part, I personally just don't even bother throwing the heavies for the additional special. The main value on it is if you're trying to stack multiple Furies for like a really high delayed burst window, but even then I think it's just not worth the effort. I think you're just better off playing normally and throwing your specials elsewise. Yeah, there's some optimization on damage there, but I just think that the added difficulty / the added effort isn't really worth the gain. So that's my personal feeling, but if you feel differently, feel free to comment and let me know why. And then a big thing here is just understanding that his special 1 has a chance to inflict bleeds, and it's multiple hits, and this is really important when it comes to playing Namor, because I do personally feel this, especially with the nerf to his medium attacks which bleed, is going to drastically affect the way we play Namor, and I have some gameplay here to show you why. So what I have here is footage up against Winter Soldier. This video isn't sponsored, so I apologize for any ads. It's just kind of my video player. It's a free video player. But this method I'm using here is a force special 3 for a Fury window, and then save my next special 3 for a delayed burst. So I don't do any kind of change. I'm just doing regular combos here, and with that reduced chance to bleed on mediums, if you play hyper aggressive into the opponent and you don't have to worry about baiting specials, or the opponent is really aggressive with their specials, you can build up to a special 3, instantly throw it, and you're not even halfway through up to your 30 outrage charges. So now you can throw that special, get a nice little burst window here, and then come back out and hammer to the opponent. I like this method for when you're not like trying to think. It's essentially just throw your first special whenever you want and then think about your second one. So you see here, I go right back into my like regular 5-hit combos. I'm hammering into the Winter Soldier, trying to build up to another special 3. And again, keep in mind, I'm able to go super aggressive against this Winter Soldier. I don't have to worry about baiting specials and stuff. So that does allow me to ramp up to my second special 3 very quickly. But even like playing super aggressively and not having to worry about him building specials and stuff, I get to my special 3 here with like 27 charges. I throw medium, go up to 28. I see that number 28 and I immediately throw my special 3. And this is where the delayed window, or the delayed burst from Namor, really comes into play, because now I'm at 28 charges. I'm going to come out of it. I'm going to try to get like a nice little parry here. Instead, I go for a nice little intercept, and I'm at 29 charges. And you want, when you're at 29 or 28 charges, you want to be comboing into the opponent right when Imperious Rex triggers. You want to like use, I personally use the medium attack, but you can do it with the light attack. But you want to use the power generated from hitting into the opponent to throw an additional free special 3. You come out, and now you have 2 Furies stacked up because of the first special 3 you threw and the second one, and you throw your big damage special 2s. So that's one way to play him. This is like the original way to play him with the new champion, and this is like a double medium delayed burst. And before, you built up into a Imperious Rex and your delayed burst fairly quickly. So double mediums was a really efficient way to play Namor, but now I'm kind of trying to use this video as evidence of why that playstyle, while it still works, I personally feel it is like the least optimal way to play Namor. One, you're not taking full advantage of the healing you can get from willpower. You're only focusing on big damage and hitting that delayed burst window as fast as possible. And then two, it just feels bad, man. Like, I even throwing double mediums here and even playing improperly, like, this is not like the perfect fight, but not every fight's gonna be perfect. Like, I get to my special 3 so fast. So like here I'm at 18 outrage charges. I'm already at my special 3, so I'm throwing mediums, you know, so far we're like 4 extra hits in. These are all hits. I guess in this point I could be throwing regular 5-hit combos, but I just wanted to show like how bad it feels and how long I am just waiting for Imperious Rex to trigger. So I'm finally at 28 charges. I throw my second, my special 3 here, and then we're going to go straight into our regular burst window, which is special 3. We're going to try to get a parry. I believe in this case the Captain Marvel is actually stunned, so I can go right in immediately after the special 3 to start comboing into her. Nope, she throws a special, and then I start comboing into her. Nothing there, straight into the shield. I use the combo to get my second special 3, so now I have 2 big Furies, and I'm going to come out of here and throw my big special 2 for damage. But to me, this method is really clunky. It just feels like you're waiting so long on your special 3, and I don't like it. This is probably like the best way to optimize damage for like number of hits, as well as just get some really good windows here, but I just personally don't like it. I think it feels really clunky. This wasn't a personal like great fight for me, but it does okay. It just kind of shows you the play style. I want to show you all 3 play styles so that you can make your informed decision. So double medium delayed burst is one way to play Namor, and if you like big damages and you like seeing the opponent just get deleted, this is the way to do it to really maximize that window. Now this is the new play style that I think can only exist because of the nerf. Now previously you never threw the special 1 outside of Imperious Rex just because you ran the risk of like hitting Imperious Rex before you hit a special 3 again, and you wouldn't get your proper window. But now, as we don't have to worry about Imperious Rex triggering as fast or that 30 outrage stack, I personally think you should start every fight, so long as you don't have to worry about recoil, throwing a special 1 and then doing the standard special 3 save rotation. It feels a lot less clunky. You're not saving your special 3 for very long, and you can see here I got like 3 outrage charges just from that special 1. If you're getting really memed and you're like sub 10 after throwing your first special 1, you can even throw a second one just for giggles. You know, it does still do some decent damage. It's going to accelerate you through. And here I'm able to do like my standard 5-hit combos. I don't have to do any weird 2-hit combos, and this would actually be even better if I was doing slow combos. But I was just recording some footage, and a lot of times I'm too lazy to think about the game that much. So yeah, so you can see here I'm only at like 20. I'm already at like 23 outrage charges, and it's going pretty good. I switch over to a double medium combo tactic here to ramp up my charges to 30 much faster. I hit to 29. I'm at a special 3. I get to come out, hammer into Captain Marvel because she is stunned. Throw another special 3. It's just gonna be a really good time. So those are like the 3 main ways I think you can play Namor. Yeah, the force is special 3 and rinse, so you have like essentially a mini burst window and then a really big burst window for like 1 Fury burst and then double Fury burst. That method's really good, but it's also a little wonky because if RNG kind of works against you, you might end up triggering Imperious Rex before you can build up to that second special 3. This method really accommodates for the RNG because even if you get super lucky and none of your bleeds are triggering and you're just hitting Imperious Rex super fast, you can still just generate a lot of power, you know, before you even hit Imperious Rex, just like the way RNG works. So those are personally the 3 ways I recommend playing Namor. I personally feel special 1 saved a special 3, and then standard burst window for Namor is like the best way to play him. But you know, feel free to let me know what you think. That said, that is the full abilities breakdown for Namor. Hopefully this helps someone out there. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. But yeah, that's Namor in a nutshell. Stay hooked, friends. Peace.